right, folks, we got a lot of news. So much news, actually, that some of it was pushed to next week. So let's get started into the news. First of all, Gen Con is on everyone's mind. Gen Con, I haven't found like an actual official announcement from Gen Con anywhere, but from secondary sources, they're saying there was between 50 and 55,000 unique attendees at the con this year.
I don't have a link, Tom, but that is like an official number. In fact, that range is an official number.
Yeah, I just find it would be odd if it's an official number. Then why is it a range? I feel like they could give us an exact number.
Gen Con has never, if you can look back in the years, they've never given you exact numbers ever. They just give you, we had over this, we had approximately. They always do that every year. So, and I think this, just if I can comment, I think that this was a great year for Gen Con. I think that 50,000, even though it wasn't the 70,000 of 2019, really brings this back as a great show, a big show. I felt like there was a lot of energy there. I was really happy with the whole show.
I think that unfortunately this underscores the fact that Origins barely increased. And you can't really use the dates or anything else to compare the two. So this doesn't look good for Origins that Gen Con had such a big increase. Because again, you mentioned 70,000. That was a one-year thing. That was the 50th anniversary too.
Yeah, but that was a one-year thing as they were continuing to increase. And in the year before that was 65-ish. So I mean, that was just their general trajectory to get to there. They kind of
capped it though. I don't think it could actually handle more than 70,000.
That's exactly right.
It felt very crowded there.
That's their maximum theoretical number in that area, and that's what they did do. But I agree with you. 50,000 on 70,000 is a lot more than 10,000 on 20,000. That was the Origins figure this year.
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's the 35 to 50, while Origins went up, I think, 10%.
Right. But I'm trying to compare it also to their high watermarks. The high watermark of Origins was 20-ish, give or take, maybe a little over that. And now they only had, was it 10 something, 10 and change, or 11? That number, that percentage is not nearly as good as 50,000 this year versus the high watermark of 70,000. So, yeah, it does not bode well. I agree with you for how Origins did.
Alrighty, but everyone seemed to be good. Exhibitors told me it was a good show for them. I talked to exhibitors, mixed reports on Origins again, but for Gen Con, I did not hear anything negative. It was not as phenomenal as last year. Last year was a really weird year that there was fewer people and sales were extremely high, but sales were like back to par with last year, and they said almost to pre-COVID levels. We'll see. All right, we have a lot of games announcements, so here we go. First, Starry Night Sky, which for some reason the people decided to put in a sunny background here as the picture. Maybe it's for contrast purposes, I don't know. Yeah. This is from Emma Larkins. She did the fun little game called Abandon All Artichokes, and Buffalo Games, which, by the way, did you know that Buffalo Games bought Game Right Games?
I don't think I remember that. I mean,
Game Right Games told me that at the show, and it happened like a year ago. It was very quiet. I did not hear about that.
Game Right, the mass market-ish company, right? I mean, they do a lot.
Well, Buffalo's also mass market too, so I mean, it makes sense.
Interesting.
Anyway, you're moving a telescope around a board trying to find locations to place your stars. And once you place stars, it's easier to move around the board. You're trying to get constellations. I hope it's as good as it sounds, and I like that cover.
I love the cover.
All right. Artipia Games is a game called Wordcraft. I'm assuming this is, coming out around Essen time. And this is where you area control game, but also with words and letters. I wish they wouldn't have used this very generic theme, though. This whole alchemist type theme is getting a little overdone.
I
Yeah.
think, I don't know. I think when you have a game about you're going to be crafting words, more of a just generic word theme makes more sense. I don't know. Like alchemists don't craft words, so I
Maybe
agree.
they
It's
should have
kind of
called
odd.
it Wordlecraft.
Wordle.
Then they would get all the.
There you go.
I think there is a Wordle board game, but anyhow. All right, let's go to a cover that I like this cover. This is Agnc. This is from Carl Chuddick. This is going to Backer Kit in September. This is.
That seems to be very much his style of game with multi-purpose, multi-use cards, in which, again, you have a board in front of you and you can tuck sides on the left, on the right, above the board, below the board, and all those things are different whatevers. They become different things based on where you tucked in that card. His usual stick, he's done it in Glory to Rome, Multini, the yellow one with the dinosaurs or whatever. I mean, but it looks neat. I really like this cover too.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing to see here. We'll see how it works on Backer Kit.
Yeah.
So I like Upper Deck, but they do seem to be a bit stuck in a rut here when it comes to what they do, because it's like all legendary all the time. So first we have some more Marvel legendary, the Infinity Saga, and then Black Panther. Actually, you would never ever have to look at what their expansions are. You just look at the Marvel movie schedule to see what sets are coming out. I mean, but I'm interested in this because I like legendary. It's just like, wow, that's a lot. I'm less interested in their new legendary encounters game, The Matrix. Now, I like The Matrix a lot. That's one of my favorite movies. I actually think the art on this game is really good. Upper Deck had probably one of the coolest booths at Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
They had like this whole thing with lights, with the Matrix code going through it. That was
cool.
But when I saw that their game was Legendary Encounters, The Matrix, I was like, oh, okay. Again, I don't know how much room this system has.
This is not legendary. This is a different system. I've never played it.
Legendary Encounters is very similar to Legendary. There's some differences. There's more movement, more strategy. They did Aliens, Predator.
Yeah, I remember
Big
now.
Trouble in Little China, a few other ones.
Could I ask a really dumb question based on the notes we have here that we're looking at? Fans of Neo and haters of spoons rejoice. What's that reference to?
I'm pretty sure that's Corey's joke there, and they bent the spoon in the Matrix.
Okay, Corey went over my head, but then again.
Zee, what do you think? You like Legendary Encounters more than me.
I do. I'm not as big a fan of this artwork. The little bit I'm seeing here, I think looks okay. I liked Alien and I liked Predator. I also thought they were very bloated games. And then I fell off of this train. Didn't care for literally any of the other ones after this. That's partly theme, but also, just the looks and whatnot.
James Bond, I think, has been the one they've been running lately.
Yeah. This might be a theme that gets me back into trying one of these. I am curious, and this will be a big deal, if this includes movies 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a problem. I would rather they not include or basically pretend the new one doesn't exist in this game.
It's hard to tell because from the cover here, I can see that they definitely have 1 and 2.
And 2 and 3 are kind of the same movie, right? I mean, so
right.
I'm sure it's 1, 2, 3. I don't know if the new one again counts or not. I hope it doesn't. I'll try it out, see what this feels like, but it feels a little more like of a stretch than, say, Alien and Predator really worked out well.
All right, from Grand Gamers Guild, we have Endeavor Deep Sea. So the original game, Endeavor Age of Sail, this is a new one, which is a little interesting to me because it seems like a very different theme. Endeavor Age of Sail is kind of like exploring the world almost with finding different continents. This is Deep Sea. I don't know. It just feels like a different game, like almost a one I don't know. They just don't seem to be the same kind of theme.
Yeah, the original game doesn't really feel like it is, I guess, an exploration game, but the scope is so massive. It's more, it's happening over decades, right? You're looking at this thing and you're seeing it, traverse and sort of expand over decades of exploration and incorporating new continents into your world view and things like that. This one seems a little more narrow, but also much more exploratory in the, more modern sense of the word. I don't know. I agree with you, but I like the system. I think this is a very solid, clean system. And I like deep sea themes. I think that's a cool setting. So I'm curious about this one. I also really like that cover.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of cool covers, I like this next cover. Empire's End. This is a combination of a lot of things I like. John D. Clare, the designer of Space Base. Quanche Mori, who has fantastic art. I really like that burning temple stuff in the background. It kind of gives it a nice dynamic feel to me. And it's from Brotherwise Games. So I thought John D. Clare was like exclusive with the AEG. Apparently that is not true. So this is coming to crowdfunding in November. Corey, our news guy, has played it and said he really liked it.
That is a very interesting cover because that square in the center there that's sort of highlighted looks like a portal through time, because through it, the temple and sort of the background is immaculate, filled with people walking those steps. The outside of that is in ruins. I wonder
it's like
if
she's
this has
looking
some
back
sort of
and remembering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool cover, but I wonder then, does this have some sort of time travel aspect to it, or?
I'm thinking it's the beginning of the civilization, the middle of civilization, the end of the civilization, the burning and stuff like that. I think that's what they're trying to say. The one thing that I picked up here is that the best way to describe this one is No Thanks meets a Civ Builder. Now that's a weird juxtaposition of one type of game and one game. I look forward to checking out how this thing is going to work.
Yeah, it sounds interesting and it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
Our next game would have made our top 10 list last year for bad game names, and that's Zoovadas. Come on now. So this is based on one of Reiner Knizia's older games called Quo Vadis, which makes sense because it's a Latin phrase. Zoovadas, come on now. You're not even trying. Although it is I like the animals. The art's good.
The art here is really, really interesting.
Good art. This is a very, 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 I don't know how much they changed the game, but this is a very okay game from Reiner Knizia. I would never have asked for it to be reprinted. But now it has animals, and they gave it, well, maybe people like the name. I hate it. I hate Zoovadas so much.
Tell us how you really
sense.
That's pretty strong. I think the tagline, politics and intrigue in the animal kingdom. Didn't know they had any of that there, but hey, I'll check it out.
I do like Bitewing. I mean, they're very new on the scene, but they've been very good as far as their Kickstarter that they ran. Their communication's been top notch. There seem to be some sharp, bright minds behind the company, and even though they are technically still unproven, their first Kickstarter hasn't quite delivered yet. It's about to. They seem to know what they're doing, and I like that. I like that professionalism and clarity of vision seem to be coming through. This is maybe a game that I won't like, and I don't know if I've played the original from Knizia. It's a very old game, but it seems focused, and I like that. You know what I mean? It seems well illustrated and focused. So yeah, we'll see.
It says here in Corey's notes, Bitewing has streamlined the title, so I guess. Zoovadas is streamlined over Quo Vadis, I guess, according to Corey.
Obviously, they're going to say that. That's just marketing speak. We streamlined it. We made the name worse. Okay. Swindler from Matthias Kramer and Pegasus Spiel. This is a push your luck game where you're stealing money bags that have coins, but there's a skull in the bag, and draw the skull and you bust. Sounds like a very light, fun little game, although it does say 45 to 60 minutes there. That's a little longer than I want to push your luck game, maybe.
Matthias Kramer is a very good designer, and I tend to enjoy his smaller games actually more than his big games. Like he did that trick taking. I think it's the trick taking one with the fruit, the whatever that's called, P-Mile Flauman or whatever, that game. I think that's his. And this one sounds interesting. This might be a very cool game. He doesn't do that many games, so I'm looking forward to it. And again, man, we are spoiled with neat-looking games. This is such a cool cover.
It is pretty cool. I think maybe, Tom, this game could, the Crush Your Luck, but it could be more like Quacks, which is Pressure Luck with got so much other stuff going on. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because Matthias Kramer doesn't do real, at least I don't remember him doing light stuff. His stuff has got some meat. So I think it may be more like that, maybe.
Yeah.
It is a day of cool covers. Let's move to Galileo Project. This is from the company Sorry We Are French. Love that name.
And I love that name. I love this cover. I love that name.
This is a designer I don't know if I know, Adrian Hessling. And you're playing as corporation settling the Galilean moons around Jupiter. Honestly, the theme doesn't sound that interesting. But Hachette, who's the kind of the overseer of Sorry We Are French, I like their stuff. It said they were supposed to release this show to Gen Con, the press at Gen Con. I did not see it there, but I missed a lot of stuff. But man, I'd get this based on the cover. I hope the game matches the cover.
It is gorgeous. Wow. Yeah.
100% agreement.
Let's stick with good covers. Now we're jumping to Pandasaurus The Wolves. This one here, you are creating the strongest pack, this theme was just done a couple years ago in the alpha. But Pandasaurus, I got to say, I really like Pandasaurus games these days. They have some really on-the-ball stuff. And so I'm looking forward to this. It's coming out October.
Beautiful.
Beautiful cover.
All right, well, let's go back to normal covers. Flashback Zombie Kids. This is an investigation game from Scorpion Mask. Now, Zombie Kids and Zombie Teens were like legacy-style games where you just played a basic little simple game with kids where you tried to escape from zombies in a school, but it changed as the game went by. Now you are in that same universe. That's right. Everything's a universe these days. In the ZKU, the Zombie Kid universe, which will culminate in Zombie Kids Endgame in 2062.
Yes.
I don't know. It's story cards. It says special cards, 2 envelopes, a surprise box. It sounds like it's also legacy, sort of.
Yeah, I wonder. This is a little confusing. I guess if you knew the original one, it's a little confusing. I'm sure gaming memory is very short, so I'm assuming they just don't care.
Well, we'll find out. Well, Zombie Kids, I know, is very popular, so this will probably sell well for them. All right. Well, Queen Games said, hey, you know what? There's a huge amount of people clamoring for us to reprint the 2017 game Pioneers, which is so popular the Dice Tower Library has 4 copies of it. Not true. It's not even in our library. It's a fine game, but it's very, very, very okay. So let's make it better by making it in a new Green Planet line called Future Energy. Yay! Sorry, was that too much?
You might have gone a little negative there. I don't know. I've never played Pioneer.
Why are they reprinting this game? I mean, Pioneers is fine, but no one's asking to play it.
Yeah, I am.
I'm gonna look it up on Board Game Geek to see.
I got nothing on this.
So I gave it a 7, which again is fine. I enjoyed it.
Good.
It's ranked 2,428, but
I've never played it, so I can't speak on it. I know Emanuel Ornella is a good designer, though a very infrequent publisher or published designer. Not a lot of games out there from Emanuel, but this is one I just didn't play. Sometimes Queen games for me fall through the cracks because they all kind of look the same. They have a few themes they really like. Egyptian themes. Oh my goodness, there is a truckload of Egyptian themed Queen games. And then Westerns, they did a few of those a little more recently. So maybe the Future Energy cover and theme will spark a little more interest. To be honest, between these two themes, though, I will take Pioneers over the other one. The other one just looks a little bland, and maybe even preachy. You know what I mean?
My suspicion is they wanted more than one game in this line, so they look for one of their older games to retheme. That's because our next piece of news is a new game from this line, Green Planet, called Powerline. This one I'm excited about because Durkan, who I like a lot, and just the way it's like the city, you're rolling dice, putting them in order. I love that cover. I'm much more excited about this one than the other one.
I need to look this up to make sure this isn't just a Durkan retheme, because that man has made a lot of games too. Powerline.
Oh, no, don't ruin it. Don't ruin it for me,
I'm
Zee.
ruining it. I'm going to find it. I'm going to ruin it.
No, why?
Because he's a very mean man.
Powerline is a reworking of
it is
nothing else.
I'm on the page. I Google food you.
Oh, man, you're so fast at things. You're winning Powerline. It's a speed game. It's not. I have no idea.
Really
this
not.
is unfortunately, this one is going on GameFound. I just found the GameFound project for it.
Why is that unfortunate?
Decided to rename. I don't know. They said soon they'll be launching it. But they're up to like the 6th one now, and the first couple ones haven't been sent out yet.
The fact that they're crowdfunding is problematic to you, not the fact that it's on GameFound. I just wanted to understand what you said. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just slow. They're slow to deliver.
They're slow. Okay.
All right. Now the next two games, are my top 2 favorite covers of this week, and I've loved so many covers.
Well,
this next one, La Familia.
La Familia.
La Familia. This cover
Say it right.
amuses me so much to see these two guys on a scooter.
and
there's a burning. I don't know why. I love this cover.
I love this cover too. It's like 2 dudes on a moped getting away from a burning building, and one of them has a bat. How did he set the place on fire with a bat? I
do talk negatively about things, not too negatively. This, to me, when I saw this, I said, this is the worst cover for a theme that I've ever seen in my life. I cannot believe. This is about the Great Mafia War in Italy, I guess, early along. So there were farmhouses that the mafia was going to set fire on and beat people up with bats. It's just a disconnect.
Wait, you don't like this cover? I love it.
I dislike this cover. It looks like I'm going to be farming with a bat in my hand. No, I really dislike this cover. The colored palette is wrong for the theme. If it was a farming game, then maybe it would work with the bales of hay and stuff. No,
maybe you are farming human blood.
Here's the thing. I think that I like the kind of the motif. It reminds me of, remember when you first saw the art for Scythe, you saw farming and then these mechs kind of in the background. This is giving me that same kind of thing. It's like farming, but also there's mobsters in it. I'm like, ooh, no. This makes me feel like it's a living, breathing world.
Just annoys me on every level. But Führerlandspiele is a great company. So this is like the game that I absolutely would check out based on that, but not based on this cover.
All right. Well, the next cover is also one of my favorites. I don't know why I like this one so much. I think it's just good artwork, and that's Applejack, not the My Little Pony. This guy here, who is just happy to be holding an apple, but this is just a good painting. I think it's like technically looks amazing. This is from Uwe Rosenberg. Yay! He's talking about farming. Okay, less yay, but there's beehives and apples. This is coming from Game Builders, and it's going to be available at Essen.
Yeah, when I saw this one, I saw it a couple days ago, and I was like, oh, hey, look at that. Uwe Rosenberg is still hungry. It's just like, every game he's put out for the last 10 years, I swear he designs while hungry. He's Everything's about, oh, I got to feed my family. I need to farm. I need a sandwich. I need something. Where are the chips? You know what I mean? Like, everything is about that. And here's this guy holding a piece of fresh fruit. The fruit is clearly the focus of this image. It's the one thing. It's like dead center in the picture.
It's called Applejack.
I'm just saying, why is he so hungry? I don't think he was fed as a child.
Uwe Rosenberg has never eaten in his life. He is hungry. This image is absolutely gorgeous. It's like frameable for your wall, without a doubt. It's beautiful.
It is.
Piece of art.
Imperium Horizons. This is from Osprey Games. This is a new standalone game that's, I believe, it's fully compatible with Imperium Classics and Imperium Legends. Although each of those, I think, had 8 different civs in them. This one here has even more. I want to say there's 12 in this one.
Wow.
14. That's so much more content. This is
I gotta try this game out. Do you like this one, Tom? You've played it?
I do, but I would be loath to teach it to you because it is a fairly heavy deck builder game.
Yeah, I know Mike really likes it, and I really like the look. I like the look here a lot, but I wonder, I'm definitely cooled on deck building games. And if it's a complex deck building game, I don't know if that would help or hurt. You know what I mean? That might help because I do think that a lot of deck building games feel lazy because they're usually simple and they don't know what else to do. So it's like deck building, but they almost feel carbon copy from other, earlier deck building games. So maybe I'll like this. I like that look. I like the artist, and these designers are top notch. So yeah, maybe.
Tom, and you've played this before?
This one.
I like it.
Yeah, I've never played it. I mean, everything I'm reading about it here sounds really interesting to me. So I would, if it's hard to learn, though, that would be problematic. But I would like to check this out.
All right. So Avalon Hill is a completely new company at this point in time. And I had a good long talk with several of the people who work there. And this is one of the games that they're coming out with called the Yawning Portal. It's a D&D based game, but it is straight up a Euro game, which there isn't many of those. The most well-known, of course, being Lords of Waterdeep. This one here, your tavern staff, people are showing up and you're trying to feed them. The components look great. It looks fun. I'm hoping it's a good game. It's coming out not too far. It was on
January.
Hasbro Pulse recently.
It just started on Hasbro Pulse like yesterday. And it'll be coming out in January. I was unbeknownst to me, I didn't know it was going to happen. They gave me a copy of the game. It's a pre-production, so not everything is exactly the way it's going to be, but the art's all in there. I don't do reviews, of course, but I'm excited about trying this. It is not truly a fantasy game. It's based on one of the biggest parts of Forgotten Realms. The Yawning Portal is a tavern that takes you to different places, as I recall. So I'm going to check this out and play it. This is really interesting, and we have other things to talk about, of course, with Avalon Hill at the end of this set of news. But I can't agree more with what you just said. They have put in place so many good people now and a big infrastructure to actually start putting out really good games. This one looks good. Betrayal at House on the Hill 3rd edition. I got to play it at Gen Con, and it was very good. Again, that's not a game for everybody, but they streamlined things and they added 50 new haunts to the game. I really like what they're doing right now.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that got less stellar reviews here at Dice Tower, but
that's okay. But I'm a big fan of Betrayal at House on the Hill, even the original, air quote, broken, or maybe not air quote broken.
No, there's no air quotes. It's broken.
But I love this 3rd edition. I went from loving it to really, really loving it. I think it came out really well.
All right. So I would have actually skipped this next piece of news because I don't want to mention every time Lord of the Rings Journeys to Middle-earth has a new expansion, but the Witch King's in it, so that's cool. So I wanted to show that. Yay, Witch King.
Very neat.
Witch King.
All right. So Magic the Gathering has a set coming up in their Unline, which is their weird, goofy sets that are not tournament legal, but are just silly and fun to play. The last one was what was it? The first one, it was Unglued, Unhinged. Was the last one Unhinged?
I don't remember. Unglued,
Anyway,
Unhinged.
The upcoming one is Unfinity. Anyhow, it's going to have legacy stuff in it with stickers. You can change things.
I think the last one was Unsanctioned is what it is.
Yeah.
I actually liked the last one because it had these little cards. You like put cards together to form another card. That was fun, and I'm 100% buying this. We're playing it live on the studio because I think that's funny.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, Arc Nova Maps. Did you hear there was Arc Nova Maps? Because it was probably the thing people ran for the most at Gen Con. There's a map pack, and it also says in there, Zoo Map Pack 1, which means more of these will be coming.
Oh, of course. That would be silly not to do it.
I agree. All right, the two biggest announcements that happened last week. First of all, Star Wars deck building game. This is coming from Fantasy Flight with one of the worst depictions of Luke Skywalker I've ever seen.
It's a really bad cover. I mean, it's just a bad cover. It's a lazy title. This whole thing is just not working for me personally. But again, I just said that I'm
the game is good and it's going to sell well. But wow, that art. It looks like it's a video game art, right? Like this is a still from a video game. Anyway,
no, there's something about this that is not capturing any sort of epic feeling at all. This looks like a disposable, garbagey game. I don't know how else to put it. I feel like I'm going to run into this at a thrift store. It has that feel, that look, that energy. But hey, maybe it's fantastic. I have no idea. And I did just say, restate that I've cooled on deck building games.
So this is
not
not
deck building games. I like Star Wars. Go ahead. What?
I'm noticing it's not going to be an LCG apparently, which is interesting. It's going to be one and done, or they'll have expansions like other deck building games.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If they start releasing expansions really fast, does it matter that it's not an LCG?
No,
they're the same thing.
I've never even bought. Not true. I just find it interesting because like LCG is their thing. So it's interesting. This one is coming out as non-LCG, apparently.
Well, no
Either
LCG
way,
has been a deck building game.
I'm hoping the game is good. I like Star Wars. I like deck building. That would be fun. So we'll just wait till we get more info. But I think it's gonna be big because it's Star Wars deck building game. But we'll see.
Right.
All right. Thank you for the 25 emails I got about this from people going, did you hear? HeroScape is coming back. Yes, I heard from everyone.
Yes. Yes.
So HeroScape is coming back from Avalon Hill. Now, I'll tell you all, folks, my first reaction to this was, I don't care. Not because I don't love HeroScape. Calm down. I do like HeroScape, but Avalon Hill is so unreliable for me that I wasn't as excited about it. I wasn't excited because I thought that the Hero Quest that came back, they just basically pressed the reprint button on it, didn't streamline it or make it more interesting. And Hasbro has a strong reputation of introducing a new game, having one expansion come out, and then they go, it's not making Magic money, cancel it. All right? But after talking to the Avalon Hill guys at HeroScape, they're bringing me around on it. So they're being very coy about telling us anything about this. And I know some people who are in this project. And so they're keeping a lot of things under wrap. But here's what we do know. It's backwards compatible, which means it works with HeroScape. That's awesome. The miniatures will not be painted. That's less awesome. They had to do it to cut costs. I get it. It makes sense. The miniatures will be color-coded, so like if it's part of a certain army, it'll be red or blue or whatever. But still, considering the vast majority of HeroScape stuff that's already out there that's painted, it would be weird to play with painted and unpainted stuff together. And not everyone's a painter. So I think that will be a problem. but they have a lot of stuff in store. They're very excited, the team on it. So I am cautiously optimistic.
So this is where when I went before, we talked about the Yawning portal, and I said, oh my God, Avalon Hill, Hasbro, is back with a vengeance. The fact that they are doing this, they've assembled, part of the original team. Craig Van Ness, one of the original designers, is the lead on the team. And we know other people who are on this that are big gamers, and their entire Avalon Hill hobby game team now has just grown to a huge size, and they're obviously going to pump money into this and other games that they have brought out. They're adding to. For instance, not only this, but we saw at Gen Con more Hero Quest. They have expansions for Hero Quest coming out, so now they are updating the system. The first one was just, okay, we're putting it back there. We're just putting it there. Okay, yeah, I agree that that's not maybe the way they should have. But now they're going to support that. This is going to get hit big time. Betrayal at the House on the Hill, not loved by you. They have an expansion coming out for the new system. So I really am excited by the potential that a multi-billion-dollar company could bring to these games.
Oh, that's baloney. I don't care about that part. That multi-billion-dollar thing means nothing. We have small companies making way better products than Hasbro. That's silly to say that.
No, it doesn't seem silly, Tom.
I'm more interested in the fact that Hasbro is not as involved in this. That it's more Avalon Hill than Hasbro. Hasbro sucks. Okay, they do. Their games are terrible. I hate most of them.
Yes, agreed.
They're bad for the hobby. But Avalon Hill and the team I talked to at Gen Con, they're cool. They seem like they really care. I just hope Hasbro doesn't axe this in a year. That's what I'm worried about.
Agreed. Agreed. But every indication seems like they're now
Hasbro, if you want to sponsor the show, call me.
Yeah. I'm sure Hasbro's right on top of that one. So let me just put out one little plug / interesting information for everybody out there. I got an interview with Craig Van Ness. I did a 15-minute interview with him off-site, and he goes through. He can't say what's going to happen, but he's got some great insights into how it all happened and stuff like that. I'll be posting that later this week on my YouTube channel, The Podfather of Gaming, so you can get a little more information about how it's going, not only with HeroScape, but all the other projects at Avalon Hill. It was really cool to talk to him.
Alrighty, well, that's the news. As we know more about HeroScape, and believe me, I will be first in line to learn about this. Like I said, folks, I want this to succeed. I want this to do well. And it did stop me from paring down my HeroScape collection. So we'll see what happens. Alrighty, well, that's a lot of news. Let's jump to some contributors so we can end this show.